Hey, I'm a little upset. I'm going to talk about it today because I posted about it on Facebook, and some of you saw just a brief glimpse into the mind of what was going to happen. And I literally can't talk right now, but I have to talk because I'm just, all these thoughts flying in my head. I'm just like, why don't people understand what I do? So here we go. We're going to start the podcast right now. After I tell you, if you want, subscribe. Like and subscribe for you on YouTube. Those of you who are listening elsewhere, give the podcast a follow. It's always nice. It shows me that you're listening, shows me that you're engaged. Maybe share it with a friend. I don't know. Maybe this will be the catalyst to your friendship going forward. You'll be like, remember that episode 30 of the Dutch Snedeker podcast? Yeah, just do it. You never know. So here we go. Hey everyone, why? Why? I ask myself. I'm but a man. I am a mere man. I am no god. I am no deity. I'm just a man. You're like, what? What are you so mad about? Why are you so angry? Well, twice this past week, unbeknownst to these people who are asking for professional recommendations, they do not trust. They do not trust, period. And here's why. I've had two different events, both requiring background music, both at the request of a mutual friend in the music scene, professional, people who are highly recommended and respected on their own merit. They both got hit up. And they were like, we need a pianist. And they went to me. And I was like, sweet. I have those days open. This sounds like a fun thing, easy thing, make some money, background music. It's great. I can do that. I've done it a million times. I've done it literally for years. Even in high school, I was playing background gigs. I was playing all your dumb corporate events where everyone's like, we had a good fiscal quarter and everyone's had a great time. And then you just hear, oh, I love that. That's the jazz. I wonder I feel like I'm on an island. We should buy an island. So let me explain to you what a background music gig is for me. Because one, usually it's very easy. I can play whatever I want. Now, am I going to show up to your event and go, no. Am I going to show up and go, like, just go crazy? No. Am I going to show up and go, just do this? No. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen if you hire a professional musician? Oh no, those professional musicians, sometimes they're what? What are they? What are your preconceptions? What are your assumptions? What is the right word? What are your assumptions? What are your preconceived? That's the word I was thinking of. Preconceived notions of what a professional musician does. What do they do? What do you think we do all day? What do you think we've done? I've been playing piano since I was 8 years old. 8 years old. I've said it before in the podcast. Think of anything you've ever done since childhood. Walking, talking, socializing, growing as a human being. As I have matured, I have had the piano. When I had braces, I was practicing the piano. When I had my first girlfriend, my first dates, first kisses, first anything, first time in algebra, first time on the swing set, first time on the playground in elementary school. I have been playing piano since second grade. Second grade. Some of you people didn't even know how to talk in second grade. You're just like, I'm a it's like, no, you. I've been playing piano since then. I've been doing it. I've been making it happen. I've been doing it. And I've been making it a part of my life for years, for over 2 decades. I have 2 degrees in it. I've performed at some of the highest caliber performances. I learned the whole musical for Wicked in under a week because I had to ghost 2 shows with the MIDI setup that I was totally brand new to. Had never used a MIDI system that involved in terms of like how it was set up and what, notes corresponding to different patches. Like right now, it's just a piano patch because it's just a MIDI piano from Keyscape. But sometimes you could customize it like, okay, this octave is all piano, and then, up here is something different. And then down here, it's a timpani cue. And I would learn the music exactly, because if you missed any of those notes, there'd be a cue that's gone, or a transition that the people on stage wouldn't hear. And a sense of wonderment for the audience, seeing the music paired with the scene transitions, or something, an action moment on stage. All those things. I played it Bang It a Can. Bang It a Can. They select like 40 to 50 people internationally every summer. Internationally. So out of 40 or 50 participants, and not all of them being performers. They pick like 8 to 10 composers. So like out of all those people, I was very fortunate to go, and I learned a ton of stuff, and I've learned from all these people, and I continue to grow. I continue to expand what I do. I'm in the music business, doing all the things. Hi, I'm in the music business. I got podcasts. I got this. I got that. And the nerve of some people who approach the music industry as if it's just a make-believe, as if we don't have a professionalism to the industry. Just because I'm not always dressed up for a corporate job, like I'm in a t-shirt right now. It's like, oh, he's not professional. Oh, can you play a piano? Do you want to do this event yourself? How about that? Let's see you get on there. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for everybody. Wow, look at it's Mr. Businessman. He's here. He's ready to play. What are you going to play for us? You got to play 3 hours. Do you know how to do that? No, you don't know how to do that. So why are you telling me that you don't know if you don't know what's going on? And you need me to send a video. You want me to send a video of me going like, oh, I don't know if I could play. Is that too hard? Is that hard? Is this inconceivable? Can you not use context clues? I have a website. I have a YouTube page. I have all these things that I'm adding content to. There's all this stuff you can reference. But at the core of it, too, when you're asking an industry professional that you supposedly trust and then you still need proof, you don't trust anybody. You don't trust people. You think that everyone's out to burn you, or you've been burned in the past. Like, what is this? What are we doing here? Like, what's going on? Why? This doesn't happen with any other job. What, you'd go up to a plumber, he's like, oh, Dan's Plumbing. Do you have, do you do plumbing? Yeah, we do plumbing. We've been in the business for 15 years. It's a family business. So I learned from my dad, and he learned from, my grandfather, and we've run a great business for 15 years. Wow, 15 years. That's amazing. Wow, you guys really are endeared yourself to the community, and people know who you are, and you've serviced a lot of customers. But before I hire you, can you take a video of you fixing a sink or something? Like, I want to believe that, I want to show my team that this is what the plumber we hired a legit plumber. It's like, who cares? It's background music. Who cares? Half the people that play background music that are like, people assume like, oh, age, like, oh, the older person, he's seen it all. He knows how to play. And sometimes they're just sitting there like, like they're a little sloppy, or they've played something the same way, or they don't have the same dexterity. I know it's all nuance. I'm not being ageist. I'm just saying sometimes when they look at an old person, they assume that they're the smart one when they're not. They're not. I've been practicing. So much of my life has been in a practice room. I don't need someone to be like, are you really good? Yes, I'm good. Ask someone, anyone. Oh, you did? And you still don't believe them? Well, that's your fault. Why? Why is it so hard? It should be easy. It should just be, I got a recommendation that you're great. We're going to hire you. Nope, I still got to prove myself. I have 2 degrees, I've endeared myself to this region, supposedly. I know a lot of the musicians operating out there. And then you're still like, well, we don't trust anybody. So we got to make sure that you are all like, what is this? It's not like I'm a feature. I'm just going to be there and it's going to be like, oh, yeah, Ken, how's it going? Ken, oh, it's so good to see you. Oh, it's been forever. Yeah, I expanded my sector last year, and we hired 40 new people. We have a division that's all set up for networking, and it's gonna be a great time. And I'm so excited to like really get into this year's the new product line we have coming out. Did Diane tell you? No, Diane didn't tell me. And then I'm just sitting there, I could literally just play this the whole time. And they'd be like, that's probably a song. Okay, back to our drinks. Like, what? And most times people, just out of a courtesy that, some people come up and they're like, they do the thumbs up. They're like, and they give you that face. It's like, nice job, man. Oh, that's so good. That sounds like music. You did it. You sound like music. Yes. Thank you. And then, of course, other people, they come up and they're like, they have a little more to say, and there's a dialogue and back and forth and a mutual understanding that we're human beings and I'm not a piece of furniture that's playing music. Just go play Spotify if you don't trust musicians. Do that, because that's the industry. That's where the industry's going. It's just going to be someone rolling up to a gig in like decked out in like Gucci, and they pull up their phone and they're like, bro, here's my album. And then it's just like, it's whatever nonsense is happening. It's just like, look at my album, man. It's so good. It's like, what is it? Man, it's called I Killed Him. What? I don't know if we can play that. No, it's the radio edit. Oh, it's the radio edit. It's the radio version of I Killed Him. Like, what are we doing? Is this really how, like, again, you don't, like, maybe you go to a cake shop and you get free samples, and that's baked into the business because people usually have taste buds and they want to be like, oh yeah, the Bavarian cream, that's what we got to go with. But with music, it's like, people don't treat it seriously. It's like I said, piece of furniture. It's a house plant that's fake. It's just like, it looks like a plant. It functions like a decoration. You don't have to water it, and I don't have to care about it. Like, this is what people do. All these corporate types that are just like, we would like to hire your services for what? Just tell me, just point to the corner you're going to put me in. You're going to put me in a corner. I know you're going to do it. We want you to play out of the way, in the background, so far away. In fact, go outside, down the block, go 3 miles down the street, and then you'll see a guy named Phil. Phil will not let you into his house, but you insist because that's where you're playing. It's like, just put me in the corner and pay me the money, and it's easy. It's so easy. But then you're at like, well, send proof. It's like, what do you think my career is at proof? The recommendation from an industry professional is at proof? Like, what? It's just like, come on. Musicians have been sidelined for like a year, and then the first time you interact with one, you're like, do you still know how to play? Yes, I know how to play music. Jeez, did you not trust your friend, your business professional, a person who's working at a perceived person in the industry who's working at a respected level to you and your, your team, your corporate people, just being like, well, oh, wow, he could do the music. Yes, I could do the music. Look at my pedigree. Look at my bio. Look at my videos. Look at all these things. Look at them all. Just be a little bit more investigative. My name is pretty unique. Type it into Google. There's a lot of stuff on Google. I'm working on the SEO, It's like, I don't really understand it. I just know what it does, kind of. Like, just why? Every time I have to prove myself to just some stranger. It's like, that's why artists go crazy, because they get their whole career is just full of people like, hey, do you know how to do, I've never heard of you, and I have great taste. No, you don't. You don't have great taste, because you don't know anything about anything related to art. Half the art in the city of Grand Rapids is just a giant picture of Jesus drinking a craft beer. What are we going to do? What are we talking about here? Are we just going to sit here and just pretend that that there weren't a million artists who were already working and operating in the city, and you probably saw them out and about when you were like, oh, just getting drinks with the gals, and then someone's like, hey, that guy's really good on piano, and they're like, oh, you sound great, can you? Actually, I will know you sound great if you know the specific song and can play it exactly the way I want it, and let me and my girlfriends be superstars. Because every part of the media is just like, music is about a contest, and it's a competition, and it's cutthroat, and you go on America's Got Talent, and you kill everybody. Like, on stage, you play your song, and you just murder everyone on stage, and they're like, wow, he's got heart. We love him. He's so wonderful. And then you get a show in Vegas, and they're like, wow, turns out you can't make a show out of a 15-year-old girl playing a ukulele. It's a lot more effort and work, and there's a lot more people involved, and there's people who probably have to spend a bunch of money up front and hopefully can earn against it. And meanwhile, this 15-year-old girl's locked in a contract for $3 million, and it's up to her and her team to make it up. And she's just like, I just wrote songs in my bedroom. I don't know. And it's like, what are we doing? If you can't just go with a recommendation, go with the fact. I get it. People don't know me. I'm gonna say that. I'm not famous. I'm not a famous person. I'm not Kim Kardashian. I'm just a dude. But when the thing that just kept irking me, because it happened in the same week, both of these requests, is just like, you as a professional get recommended stuff all the time. And yes, it is your due diligence to follow up. But if you were to get a recommendation, why can't you just, we wanted to hire this person, or we wanted to consult this person, and they recommended this person. All right, here's my website. Because what happens is that a lot of people, unless it's like telling someone there's an ingredient in a dish, and then they don't taste it because their palate's not as refined, or it's nuanced. Like, oh, it's just a little bit of heat underneath the sauce. Like, it's just the sauce for me is, hey, check out Earth Radio. I played on stage with the War and Treaty that one time, and I learned the music that day. And like, oh, I played Wicked on a week's notice. I played, I've played at all these bands in the region. I've been part of Jammy winning bands, local scene awards. I've, all these things point to, hey, maybe he's an industry professional, and we should just, look up all the stuff he's put up. It's just like, come on. I'm so tired. And that's partly why I'm angry, is just because I'm tired. And I'm like, God, just another thing in this life. Another person who doesn't believe that art is real and that it's tangible and that it's not just like, I love the color of this room we don't use in our mansion. Like, that's what people think art is. Art is a thing you put so someone could be like, wow, you have great taste. It's like, you might also just buy art because you hired an interior decorator, and then when you do your show tour of your property, is like, yes, I have art. I think it's by a Emmanuel Sossan. He's a great artist. I know all about him because I totally do, and it's not because I just pulled out my credit card and spent half of the store's income on a bunch of paintings. It's just if it's just one thing. That's why opening up back up has been so weird too. It's because like it's like everyone forgot what music is. It's like the only experiences people tend to have, they see something that's hyper produced, and then they're like, that's music. It's like, that's part of music. Sometimes it's seeing the people, it's the process of music, you know, seeing people work it out, or it's about context. Like with my situation, they want to hear a specific style or a specific reference thing. And it's like, look at my bio. See the variety of things that I could play. I could sit down and play you some Bruno Mars tunes. It's not going to be a tough time for me. Like, what do you mean? It's like if you were hiring Cliff in accounting, who doesn't own, you know, and I'm not talking about Cliff Metcalf. He's not an accountant. But Cliff, you know, in accounting, and he owns like a Casio like keyboard and is just, you know, just noodles at home. You're not going to ask him to do a gig like that unless you're meaning background, like so far in the background it's barely audible. And it's and let me clarify this at, you know, this far into this episode. I will 100% will. I will learn and perform in a way that is authentic to how I operate, but also good for an environment. I know how to play to a background gig. I know how to play on stage. I know how to play in a funk group, a jazz group, a mixed genre fusion-y group. I've accompanied classical vocalists, jazz vocalists. I've worked with, string players, horn players, all different types of rhythm instruments. I've sight read Cuban music, drunk on tequila in a bar in North Adams with the instructors that taught that whole week, plus Greg August, who is a Latin Grammy winning bass player. I know how to play my instrument, and this video should just be what you send all the clients. Just be like, don't even come here. Because what? I'm going to send an email back. I don't know. I don't know if you know how to plan an event. Could you do an event for me for free and take video so I could see how you would plan an event? No, that doesn't happen. That's a waste of everybody's time. Hey. Everybody's time is wasted when you do this, because all you're doing is reinforcing the point that's already been made from all the other content I put out on the internet and the people that recommend me. Why even have clientele that recommend me if no one's gonna believe them? Like, it's so crazy. It's crazy. I'm crazy right now. I'm crazy because this has just been... It's been, one thing after the next with some of these people. They're just like, I don't know what music is, but I'm going to have opinions and take stands and affect real opportunities for musicians based on my limited understanding of how musicians operate. Sure, you might have seen someone get, hammered at a wedding. That's not indicative of the industry. You might have seen a movie about rock and roll and leather jackets, and you're still stuck in the 80s, and you think that bands like Whitesnake or what every musician is, Or you see Sarah McLachlan, you're like, every musician should just be this delicate flower songwriter. I don't listen to a lot of Sarah McLachlan. She's probably great. But you see, like, in the arms of the angel. You're like, that song's beautiful. No one can play it like her. Yes, people can play it similar to her, people, because the industry is this recyclable thing. It's every artist has to learn every other artist's most famous work. I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to learn. I've played that before in an excerpt about a podcast. I know how to play. I can learn a song. Most songs aren't that hard. I learned. How I learned Piano Man. I had a wedding. If you go to my Facebook, you'll see the post where I was like, it is my personal page, I guess. Facebook.com/musician man, I think is what I made it back in like high school. You can see the post where I was like, y'all gonna have me play Piano Man again. I don't want to play it, but I'm gonna learn it, and I learned it. I literally, the first time I played it, I sight read it on the gig, and it was a nightmare because the song, it's really like 5 or 6 musical ideas, and they're all kind of layered in different ways. And it's like, is this the longer transition? Is it the transition that's, and then, or is it the transition that's just or however it goes. I listened to it in the car on the way up to the gig. I listened to it like 5 times. I made mental notes of what was happening. I got a chart from Ultimate Guitar, which is every musician's least favorite spot to source charts because users just upload things that you're like, what version were you listening to? This chord isn't in there. These chords aren't lining up with the lyrics. There's no rhythm, And I made edits on the chart and just made notes of like, okay, this is where it builds, and this is where the la, da, 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 da. Sing a song, you're the Piano Man. Like, how hard is it? It's so many people who have command over their instrument, they like to do this thing that's like, especially jazzers, they'll say like, it's only 12 notes, man. And part of you is like, but there's so much going on. And then the other part of you is like, oh yeah, it's really just 12 notes. You just learn, you learn a few, if you're studying a style, you learn the shapes, you learn, I don't know Montunos. Or, what? Like, I don't even, that's probably not right. I don't know. I fake them when I have to do like, Havana on that. Like, it's so. So this let me wrap this up by saying you are more discerning than you give yourself credit for. See, I'm complimenting you now. If you're like, I know what music is, don't yell at me. You are more discerning than you think you are. If your gut reaction is like, wow, he's pretty good, it's usually right. Usually. Sometimes people fake it. But if you're getting a professional opinion, if you're like, I'm not just going to fix my sink, I'm going to hire someone who knows how to fix it. And I'm going to trust that they know how to fix it. Or maybe if it's like a small thing, I'll go to YouTube where someone's probably posted about, you're gonna need this wrench, and you're gonna go to Home Depot and buy this pipe and put it in. I don't know why he's from fake Arkansas or wherever this accent is, but you get what I'm saying. I trust it, especially with like hardware stuff. Like I don't know how to fix my car. I don't know how to fix, like I might have an idea of what's wrong with it, but I don't know how to fix it. And that's how some people treat music, except they think they know how to fix it. They think they know how to curate it. They think they know how to... What do you think I'm doing every day, all day, all the time? It's thinking about music. I'm writing about music, talking about music, recording music, playing music, musicking music, like listening to music, listening to podcasts about music. Like, and what do you do all day? You do your job, whatever you do, really well, and that's great. So do that and trust that I know how to do my job. And that's That felt good. Felt good. Hopefully it felt good for you too. If you needed to scream at the sky, I give you license to do that with this episode. Thanks for listening. You can find me at DutcherSnedeker.com and see what I'm up to. Website should hopefully be updated. I'm shooting by September. I want to launch it on my birthday. Or relaunch it. And that's when my Squarespace thing renews, I guess, too. So, but you can go to DutcherSnedeker.com. You can support me on Patreon. There will be some updates, too, going to there by the time... Yeah, on my birthday. It's gonna be a big content refresh on my birthday, which is September 10th, if you're curious. So keep an eye out for that stuff. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. The podcast pages are all sourced through Anchor.fm for distribution. It's a great place to distribute your podcasts if you need it. And we'll see you next time for hopefully a less angry episode of the Dutcher Snedeker podcast. And don't forget to pay your artists.